Hey, Shalom, Shalom, on the start of souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakah, the belongers, the apostles of GMS, and honors you, brothers, doing the work in truth, war, sincerity. This is a quick one, all right, another quick one. It's basically, another case, man. I did another video with the similar title, "Fuck the Nigga Woman," right? I mean, and in that video, man, that clip was bad, and this is another case of you know why everyone looks at Jake in the manner that they do. They look at Jake like Jake ain't no good, right? Which for the most part they ain't, right? But this is another one that's been doing the rounds, right? It says I snuck up on my kids at daycare cause and here's the thing, man. Look, man, Jay, I'm gonna read this. I ain't gonna play the video because the other video got done for showing child endangerment, so I ain't gonna play it. But you can try find it yourself, right? But basically says I snuck up on my kids at daycare because they mama jailer don't let me see them, and I took my boys to get their hair cut and got my baby girl hair did. Look what her mama do just because I got my baby hair did. I'm Gucci, but my baby hurt. But females talk about deadbeat this, why some niggas say fuck that shit. And I remind you, she also smushed her birthday cake on her birthday last year. My girl gonna always have hate in her heart. Daddy gonna get custody soon, baby. Hold on for me. All right, and this is another case of why you gotta that's why the law don't let you get with certain chicks, man. Right? Hopefully it don't play. You see the kid all teared up and shit, right? So I was trying to get it. Cause I can't play the vid, man. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's why you don't law don't let you get with certain chicks, man. Man, you gotta be grateful for that, cause look, that could be your baby mama, right? You could have got that pregnant, man, right? But hey, you just gonna have faith that the Lord is protecting you from something, right? You don't know what it is, but Lord might reveal it to you, Lord might not, right? But look, man, you gotta be careful what you deal with, cause then your daughter's all there crying and shit, right? All to spite you. You read what it said there, right? Because it's not only this, because you read the comments on, oh, he did it to spite her, whatever bullshit, right? But this woman has a tendency of doing this shit. Right, first thing, next thing is like, why these people always gotta have these domestics in public, right? Why they always gotta have these domestics in public, and before your children are basically being taken away and being raised by some homosexuals, right? Because he says, also smashed her birthday cake on her birthday last year. So this woman has a habit of taking it out on the father, whatever, what have you, right? Or to spite the dad. Right? She's a bad mom, right? But these are just the curses, man. These are the curses, right? And you can you can read that, if you go on this Toxic Tegan, you can watch the video for yourself. I ain't gonna play it, right? But and then this is what the mother had to say, and this is what he's saying. Jay be looking degenerate as fuck, man. You can see the blonde hair in the picture there, right? It says, and yes, I cut that bullshit out my baby head because I don't need no hoe dick gripping hands in my head, period. He only let a bitch did it because he know I don't play about nobody putting they hands in my daughter hair. Bitch, go play with them other kids, don't play with mine's, period, right? And this is just like, yo, the illiteracy. If Jake spent more time, right, just trying to get on a certain level, right, as opposed to just you know just fucking and gang banging, right, and being sluts and hoes. And once again, that's why the scriptures say this, man. The scriptures, and like I said, you can read all of that, man. That shit's depressing, in the comments as well. That shit depresses you also, right? But let me grab this as well. That's in Lamentation. It's Lamentations 2:15, right? It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth, right? And that's an example. People want a guy will have just gone past the camp on Saturday, heard the different bros from nearby basically saying, look, the Negroes, so the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanic, the so-called Native American are the children of Israel, and then they go and see that video, right? Then they're looking at like these are the people, right? But that's why we teach that a good chunk of good chunk of Israel gonna die, right? Says Ezekiel 37, right? I'm gonna just start from the top. I'll just read it, a little bit of it. You can read all of it. Right, it says the hand of Ezekiel 37 from the top says the hand of Yahweh was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones and caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were dry. Right, it says, and he said unto me, son of man, can these bones live? And it's representing Jake, right? You look at that woman, you're like, yo, can these bones live? Can she receive the word? Can the husband receive the word? Right? Can she ever be humbled down? Could she be one of the women that the Lord has? Because the Lord has certain women that are preserved for us. You look at her, like, could she be one of those women? Right? You ask yourself, and your immediate answer is gonna be, nah, I don't see it, right? And that's the majority of Jake is in that state of, you look at them, it's like, can these bones live? Can breath go into this man? Can this man get the understanding of this truth, right? Now the scripture do say that the Most High's hand is not short, that he cannot save. The Lord can, because we were doing some shit, man, right? We were, I'll speak for myself. I was an idolater, right? I was all up in that Christian church trying to get everyone, oh yeah, you come, hey man, you should come to my church. Hey, come to my church this, come to my church that, right? But that was worshipping another God, right? And hey, what did the Lord say in Exodus 20th chapter, right? In the Ten Commandments, thou shalt have no other God before me, right? But the God I was praying to before I came into this truth, right, wasn't the same God, right? That wasn't Yahweh, right? It was white man Jesus, right? Serapis Christus, right? Cesare Borgia. That's what I had in my mind, right? So it said, and again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and that's what we're doing. Right, starting with the apostles on down, we're prophesying to the children of Israel, because you read Proverbs 21:16, it says, the man that walketh out of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead, right? Roughly paraphrasing, right? And that's what when you look at Jake, for the most part, Jake's gone, man. Right? Jake be doing all the same things that Esau be doing, right? It says the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduce them, roughly paraphrasing. Right? And that's why also scripture say, Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Right? Because while we're in this man's kingdom, Jake is picking up his ways, and then he's going even worse with it, right? There was a time you'd be able to say, yeah, that's some as a figure of speech before I came into this truth. That's some white boy shit. But JB all up in there, right? No, you meet a Af, right? Talking to Af, but someone from the Africa's the land of Ham, right? So called. That's what the name we'd refer to them in London. And call someone an Af because you had a load of Jake from like the West Coast, right, that would come over, and you'd be like, this Af, right? But you would think, you might meet a Nigerian and you think he'd be against abortion or whatever, right? But then you hear him speak, and he's pro abortion, or if at the very least he's not against it in the same manner that we are, right? Because when we say, nah, abortion's off, we mean abortion's off, right? But when these guys in the world say abortion's off, that's just and if push came to shove, then they'd go and do it, right? But we ain't like that, man, right? It says again, he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord, power unto these bones. Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Right, so they shall, first they go and find out that they're an Israelite. Right, then they go and find out, that the one whom the world calls Jesus Christ, the so-called black man, not necessarily in that order, right? Because different people have different things that trip them, right, into this truth, right? Some people, let's say, oh, you can have many wives. What do you mean you can have many wives? Or if you're a Christian, it may be, oh, sex before marriage. That's not even in the scripture. Then you're like, what do you mean? Right? And in fact, that's why the scriptures say this. It says Revelation 10:10, right? It says, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. So those first things you hear, they're sweet. They taste good. You're like, yo, so you mean I can have as many women as I want? Right? It's like, oh man, oh swear. Or you mean, I don't have to get married before I can have sex? Because especially Jay be all burning or whatever. Really all they want to do is just pop. Just deal with the chick or whatever, what have you. But in their mind, they're like, yo, I can't, whatever, what have you, because they grew up in that Christianity, man, that fake Christianity, right? Then you tell them, nah, that ain't even scriptural, right? They're like, what, right? And then, but then it goes on to say, and as soon as I'd eaten it, my belly was bitter, right? Because then you start getting that understanding, right? So yeah, you can have as many women as you want, right? But all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient, right? Because if you can get all the women of the world, as the apostle was saying, if you're always surrounded by, what you call it, women, and women always love you, you gotta ask yourself, right? Am I in the right spirit? Am I in the truth? Right? Because yeah, don't get me wrong, we have this light. Women will find us attractive. Women will be attracted to us. Right? Women will be coming, towards us. But then what happens? Then they start having a conversation with us. Then they find out certain things. They find out, look, man, because as a man of the Lord, you ain't really supposed to be, swayed by, your woman or whatever. Yeah, yeah, every man, yeah, you love a woman. Sometimes, you might simp or whatever, but you gotta pray that the Lord takes that spirit off of you, right? But women knows that nah, this guy is gonna be easy to. This guy isn't gonna be easy to bend. So then they'll be like, nah, I don't really want to deal with him. Or what do you call it? A controversial topic comes up, like maybe feminism, right? And some topics, really, some things you just bite your tongue and just, if you can't Clark Kent mode, right? Let not your left hand know what your right hand is doing, right? But maybe sometimes you might let it slip, and you be like, nah, man, fuck feminism, whatever. Then all of them chicks are looking at you like, okay, or you might just say something which echoes the sentiment of fuck feminism, right? Or whatever, what have you, right? Because that's just who we are, and from that level, from that attraction, then they're like, nah, I don't want to deal with this guy. When that's the understanding of that, then what else? Then you find out also, sex before marriage, right? It's sweet in your mouth when you first hear it. You're like, yeah, oh shit, you know what I mean? I don't have to get married before I have sex. When you actually find out, actually, sex is marriage. Technically speaking, you can, what would you call it? Law gifts you a woman or whatever, what have you. You're a woman. You gotta deal with that woman, man. Right? And the scripture saying if she's not pleased to dwell, right, then hey, then you depart. But hey, some women are just hoes, right? And that's where you then gotta weigh things up, this, that, and the other, right? But yeah, that's just this truth for you, right? Scriptures talk about renewing of your mind, right? But I'll get back onto this demon. This is Lamentations 4:3. So even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people has become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness, right? And what do you call it? The Israelite woman, man. It's been times when I've seen well, let me not even call it an Israelite woman, the nigger woman. There's times I've seen a nigger woman with that child, and I've just looked at that child and just almost lamented, right? This is lamentation. Like, oh, I felt like lamenting. I was like looking at the child, like that child has no hope, right? That child's life is done before it's even begun, right? Woman's all said, hurry up, right? It's like, what do you mean? That's a child doing what children do, right? You just mind is all everywhere. They just want to do this, that, and the other, right? Child is supposed to be guided. So what Scripture says in Proverbs, right? Turn up a child in the way that he should go, right? And when he's older, he will not depart from it, right? That's what you're supposed to do, right? Um, It says Deuteronomy 28:56 is a tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eye shall be evil toward her husband, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. And you saw 2 out of 3 of those in that. And I didn't play the video, but if you watch it, you can see 2 out of 3 of those in that one clip, right? I didn't see any interaction with her son or whatever, right? But it's a eye shall be evil toward her husband. When people are saying, oh, she's doing that to, whatever, what have you. Either way, she is doing that to spite him, but who getting hurt, right? The kid gonna get hurt. There's the only one crying in the video, right? And then, yeah, you saw what the guy said. He said, look, man, I'm gonna get custody, right? It says, and toward her door, once again, you saw that. I mean, there was no need for that. There was no need. You saw the picture on the left. Look cute with her head. You see now, with her hair done, man. But that's our people for you, man. That's our people, and it's a damn shame. And once again, that's why these heathens look at us in the manner that they do. All right. This is Job 39:17. So it's because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, right? This is referring allegorically to the Israelite woman, the nigger woman, right? And I'm sure the Latin tribes as well, because none of our women are right. Whether it's the nigger woman, the Latin woman, none of them are right, right? The Latin woman likes, is all about so-called, let me say, right? It's all about idolatry. Ephraim as a whole, Scripture says Ephraim is joined unto idols, right? But what else do they? What else do they do? They like getting with Esau, right? It says because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding, right? Because no matter, because ultimately no harm was done, and that's why you have to have in a functioning house where the man is the head of the house. Because if this was one of the brothers' household, right, it would have been like, look, so if there was a controversy around the children, would have been okay, what does the scripture say? Is the hair done? Okay, cool. Is the hairstyle contravening the law? No, right. So it is what it is. Cool, and that's it. You may not like it, but it is. Is it going off? No. So then that's it. That's why you're supposed to have a man as a judge in the household, the head of the household, right? But it says, hey, and you can't. I mean, Jake is wicked, but Esau's the one that set up these, what do you call it? Set up this infrastructure for this to be so, right? And this is one of the reasons why we yearn to get out of this kingdom, because people say, oh, you get on the woman, you get on the woman. Right, on the sisters, look, man, is that your queen? Right, you can have that, man. We ain't wanting that. We ain't gonna tolerate that. They ain't gonna be that kind of behavior in the kingdom, right? They ain't gonna be none of those beast-looking women in the kingdom, well, of the nation of Israel, all weaved up in their head. I mean, we gotta get out of here, man. Right. So as always, Lord's will, I was edifying. Till the next time. Shalom.